Good day, Royals, and welcome back. In this session, I would love to go over market sessions so that you can understand how they operate with each other. So, that being said, we have two main industries that we are going to be diving into. One would be the Forex industry, and one would be the cryptocurrency industry. Now, of course, cryptocurrencies deals with blockchain technology, so of course, we will dive into that later on. Now, the timing for the Forex industry will be from on Sunday. It starts at either between 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and they close on Friday at either between 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, the reason why there's a time difference is because of daylight savings time. Alright, so that will be dependent on the time zone and the time of the year. Alright, so with that being said, let's go to our charts here and let's just push the DXY to the side. Alright, so as we are understanding that we have three main timing for each one of these industries or each one of these markets, we're going to draw a box here. All right, we're going to put this as blue, so that is blue, and now we're going to title this as Asian session. We're going to change the size to about 28, and let's change the color to be representing the Asian session. Now, the timing for this Asian session will be from between 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. Alright, and this is of course Eastern. So this would be the time frame that we at any point in time can come on our charts on TradingView here, and once you are anywhere in the world, once we observe Eastern timing, and I will show you how you can find the right timing for this illustration here. This is the time zone that the Asian session is really active, right? Now, from the Asian session, it goes to another session. So let's draw an arrow here, right? From the Asian session, we will have a nice, lovely session here. Whoops. Let's get that box back. Alright, so now let's change this to green. And our session here, let's get this out here. You guessed it, would be the London session. Alright, now the London session will be, let's get another time here. This will be from 3 a.m. to, is it between 12 or is it between 11 a.m. Eastern? Right, so this would be the time that the London session would be active for. All right, so you have the Asian session and then you have the London session. After the London session, something else happens. Well, let's get this here. From the London session, we will go to a very important session. Let's change this to gray. Alright, and let's pull this open, and this will be the new U. Yes, of course, this is going to be a new U. New York session. So let's change this to gray as well. Now, the New York session is ideally the session that we will always be paying most attention to, provided that the Asian session and the London session has done a particular type of move or they have illustrated something for us. We will be paying attention to the New York session. All right, and the timing for this New York session will be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. Alright, so this would be the time zones in which we will be observing these markets. Alright, Now, this goes whether it is the foreign exchange industry or Forex, any one of the main commodities, any one of the main metals. This will run just like that. It also runs the same way with cryptocurrencies, all right? Now, of course, let me just do this here. Let's just grab this here, because right after, let's see if we can paste this here. This is what takes place right after the New York session. All right. And of course, the cycle starts again. All right. So we have an understanding that we have three main sessions as to what it is we look for in the financial industry. We have the Asian session, then we have the London session, and of course, then we're going to have the New York session. All right. So why are we going to be looking at these sessions specifically? So let's just delete a few things here. Now, with these sessions, they perform a specific task. Just like any factory that runs 24/7, 365, each worker has a specific task to complete in order for it to progress forward. Now, that is the simple narrative for these markets itself. The Asian session will be responsible for just a few things. Right? The Asian session will be responsible for accumulation. Whoops. I think I may need a bigger keyboard. And once we are observing the Asian session, you will notice that at any given point in time, you can go to TradingView and observe this for yourself, that you will notice that the market conditions will be ranging, and the majority of the times, this range is rather small. All right. Now, again, using the reference point from a company or a firm or a plant or a mill that has to run 24/7, 365, they hand over the process from each other. All right. So from the Asian session, you may have where they may continue to move a little bit. Let me just change this color here. They may continue to move just a little bit. And then London is going to do a specific amount of tasks to complete what Asian started. All right. Now, of course, there is a purpose for why they would be doing something like this. Again, the markets are made up, and each one of these sessions play a vital role in how price is moved from one price range to another price range, or another price range to another price range. And if their main intentions is to drive the markets in an upwardly direction, simply put, they are going to hand the orders from one session to the next session, and then that next session is going to pass over to the other session to complete that move. So if we understand that, say for instance, they would have completed that move there, what is New York going to do? Well, when New York starts, they can manipulate the market in a particular type of way to drive the market upwards. All right, so let's pull this aside just a little bit for our illustration, so that we can make things just a little bit bigger, so that you can understand what it is you are looking at. All right. So if their intentions, of course, is to drive the markets upwards, well, that just simply means they are just passing on orders, right? I was a worker in a process plant that operated 24/7, 365. So this is how I can use that as an illustration for you guys to understand that a company or a plant that runs 24/7, we always have to move in cycles, and the markets do that exact same thing. So let's put this up here. So what do you think will actually happen for the next Asian session? Well, they are just going to do the exact same thing that they were doing from before. they are just going to accumulate orders, and they're just going to play around in that particular zone until they have gotten the orders that they needed to get in order to drive price from one point to the other point. All right, so let's copy and paste this because they have started back to accumulate. So our overall direction was bullish, but even though on the smaller time frame, the Asian session started on, for instance, a Tuesday or a Wednesday. All right, let's get rid of this. This could have been the entirety. Let's put a line here, and let's put a line here. All right, this could have been Wednesday leading into, let's get this here. All right, this could have been Thursday. All right, so an example would be this entire session here would have been on a Wednesday, but it leads into Thursday. Now, if the dealers, the people who made this market up, understood that their overall direction is bullish, they can manipulate the markets on the lower time frame, and they can actually get people going in the wrong direction. Even the New York session can get people going in the wrong direction. Of course, when we understand that our direction is bullish, and of course this goes the same for when the market is bearish, we can look for certain key factors in the New York session, and once they are ideal, we can set our parameters up. For instance, let's get a long position because we are already understanding that the market itself, all right, the market itself is bullish, and we are looking for the parameters to be able to go bullish with the dealers, with the market makers. All right, so we are going to wait for the New York session to see exactly what the Asian session did, what London session did, so we can have an idea of what they are going to potentially do in the New York session. All right, and of course this would have continued from the previous day. So let me just get one of these tools here. This would have been, for instance, this may have been the New York session, and they could have been probably coming down here and just to start this range right here. All right, so understand that the days do continue, right? It takes one session to start another session, to start another session, to continue into the next day. And once we understand how it is these sessions line up or how they operate with each other, that will give us more insights as to how it is we can move forward with more awareness, with more insight, so that we can make a guided and informed, educated decision with our investments. Once they are set, once they are ideal, and we can see with our own eyes that, well, hey, the New York session is potentially doing something. Well, of course, once we understand how to allocate our position sizes, our lot size, our volume, and we make the necessary adjustments for our entry points, right? Our entry and our stop losses, and of course our target profits, because of course what are we looking at? We are looking for where the money is located. All right, where the money is located. All right, the money is located all over on these markets, right, on these charts itself, but we're not necessarily chasing liquidity. We are essentially looking for the volatility in the markets. All right, so this is an illustration of how each one of the sessions cooperate with each other to complete a task, which is driving price from one point to the next point. And when we have these type of insights, we will be able to make a better decision moving forward, so that we can either get one, a lesson, or two, a profitable lesson. All right, and of course, when we get consistent and we get disciplined, this leads to our profitability. This refines our edge. All right, and as we take these type of illustrations into consideration and we go and apply and backtest these things, we will be able to see these happening time and time again. All right, so with that being said, I hope that you found value in this insight, and of course I look forward to seeing you in the next session. And until then, keep awesome, Royals. Have a great day. Cheers.